Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. This is number 113. And Sporting just suffered the first defeat of the season, but if we're being honest, who gives a fuck? Because we're still champions. Joined by my very special friend, Sam. Sam, what's good, bro?
Not much. I've got the championship drip, behind me as well. Shout out Amazon, finally doing a good deal. I think it was £59 in total. No delivery fee because Amazon Prime. Came here next day, and it's fucking massive on me. 3XL. The hoodie's all right though, good fit. But yeah, championship drip. We lost today, but it was going to happen eventually. I think we all knew.
Yeah, and it came at the best time, anyways. We're already champions. So who gives a fuck? Again,
yeah,
like I said.
Fact. Mm-hmm.
I'll go straight to the Twitter questions. Let me pull them up here for us in a sec. Not a lot of interaction from you guys today. I guess everybody's still hungover from celebrating and stuff. I respect it. All right. We'll start with Nuno Gabriel at Cativillins. He asks the question that really matters here. Should we have gone with our starting 11 considering who we were playing against, regardless of already being champs, or smart choice by Ruben Amorim switching it up to test different players slash strategies? Sam, what do you think, dude?
Well, for me, purely for selfish reasons, I think we should have done a full rotation. Because let's say if we go out there with 11 men, our best team, and we lose, fair enough, we've won the league and whatever, but we still lost. Whereas if we rotate, we have Max in goal, Andre Paulo in goal. Fair enough, you want to keep the main Coates and Paulinho for his confidence, but I mean, for me, I personally would have liked to see a bit more young players starting. I think maybe the 16-year-old kid might have. It's a big occasion for him. We've really got nothing to play for. Give some of the younger kids a few minutes, but I think Paulinho should have probably started. I think the game is definitely different without him, and that's no disrespect to the Bragança or Matheus Nunes, but the way Paulinho plays is just the best midfielder in the league. But yeah, personally, I would have liked to seen a fully rotated squad, bar a few players, but it is what it is.
Yeah, facts. It is what it is. I agree. I honestly, before the game, I was actually asking for Sugu to start, if you want me to be entirely honest. That's how bothered I was about this game. We'll get into that question in a sec. Christian, who couldn't make it today, he asks, why can we score 3 against Benfica but not more than 2 against literally anyone else? It's a good point. We'll get into the game though, and I'm sure we'll answer that. Next question comes in from Jay at JJAS Ferreira. Does this result give Luis Felipe Vieira and Jorge Jesus more oxygen and approval amongst fans? And if so, is this a good thing? A good thing for us looking at the next season? That's a good question. What do you think, Sam?
Without showing any disrespect to Benfica, obviously they played a great game today and they fully deserve the victory, no doubt about it. But I think from Benfica fans I talk to, they're still very much Vieira out, and I'm not too sure about Jorge Jesus, but I know he's on a shit ton of money, and finishing third, no matter who the team is spending 100 million, is never going to go well. And obviously, Luis Felipe Vieira is in a few court cases to do with debt. I generally think, from an outsider's perspective, I think a lot of Benfica fans have lost the trust and respect for him. And I'm not sure about you, but I think he's never going to get it back.
I think he'll get it back. I'm not to shit on Benfica fans. They did just beat us. But I think Benfica fans are very fickle. I mean, we've been talking shit about Luis Vieira and making them known to his corrupt ways for years now. And only after a bad season have they really started. I mean, they just voted him back in a few months ago, right?
Yeah,
it's true. Only that they're in third. After spending 100 million, that they're really asking for his head.
But what has it been for? Is it 4 years without a title or 3 years? That for them, that's a long time. Obviously, I know Arsenal's 19, and you can make the jokes if you want. But Benfica from 2009, 2017, they won the majority of the titles. I know it's pretty much between Porto and Benfica, but that's 3 years is a long time for them, and they're used to battling for first place and on the big stages of Europe. I hate Benfica as much as the next man, but the quality in teams they've had to make Europa League finals and semi-finals, like that, they went out in Europe. Fair enough, it was one leg, and you could argue if it was two, they would have gone through. But I think I don't see him unless they go on to win the title next year, and let's say they do well in Europe. I still think a lot of Benfica fans will be leaning to Vieira out.
Fair. It's only been 2 seasons. I just looked it up now. They won. It's this season and the last season they lost to Porto, and then they won the year that they won 18-19, I think it is.
Yeah.
Renouvelage, yeah, 18-19. So they won. But I mean, I agree with you. I think they're already leaning more towards Vieira out, anyways, right? Like they're doing the similar to us, where we were like obrigado aos 71%. They're doing the same to the 63% or whatever it was. I think Jorge Jesus is going to be in hot water if they don't have an excellent start to next season, or if they don't make Champions League next season, if they do stay in third at least, which I think they will. Depends. I mean, Porto Rio Ave just started, so we'll see how that game goes.
With that as well, though, I'm not sure, obviously, how much it would cost to sack him, but I don't see them parting ways with him unless they have, even if they finish second or anything, I still think they keep him. But I think this year for them was a disaster, and you can blame COVID, you can blame LSK, but at the end of the day, it was George Jesus how he was at Sporting, not playing youngsters, buying players like, I know he's got a lot of potential, but Darwin Núñez for 20 million, and him not being as good as like Gonzalo Ramos on the bench, and these young players being loaned out, Thiago Dantas to Bayern, who I rate very highly actually, but it's just how George Jesus has been. And Luis Felipe Vieira knew that when he brought him in. I don't think he's going to change his philosophy at the age he is now, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, agreed. We will see. Yeah, and I think it's another thing with Jorge Jesus, and I think what we'll see next season as well is they'll keep buying the Vertonghen's and the Otamendi's, just these aging players. And if Sporting continue to do what we're doing with the academy and still, producing results, if Porto, I don't know if it's true. I heard Sérgio Conceição might take a year off, like a sabbatical or something like that. Yeah. So if they get a manager that decides to play their youth more, I mean, Conceição, I think, has done a decent job with their youth. I mean, they do play their own João Mário, and he does play his own son, and his son actually looks promising. Yeah. Baru, he's played as well. He's played Diogo.
I know he's rotated the goalkeeper a few times as well, that Diego Costa.
Yeah, Diogo Costa, exactly. I mean, they're doing a decent job in terms of playing their youth and getting some results. Mind you, they won't win a trophy this season, but that's just this season. If Jorge Jesus continues to do what Jorge Jesus does and buys the old players that cost a lot more on wages, and they still don't turn out results except for a win against Sporting. Congratulations. If they don't get any trophies from that, it's definitely they're gonna be asking for his head. They've been asking for his head already. So, but we'll see. And does that benefit us? I don't know. I honestly don't know if that'll benefit us. Luis Vieira leaving Benfica, it might, but who knows that if another guy comes in, I won't say pays the ref even more, but doesn't put Benfica into like a better place with all the money they have, right?
Yeah. They've like we said, they've still got young players coming through as well. So if they get a new manager, or if George Jesus because to be fair to George Jesus, when he was at Sporting, he did call up, I think, Matheus Pereira, and maybe Palhinha was one as well. Palhinha, yeah, and I correct me if I'm wrong, I think Jose Martins was him as well, or it might have been
probably
Marco Silva before. So, I mean, players that in value have gone up, and he recognises them, but I think he just needs to do it more often.
Yeah, fair. And Rafael Leão is another one too. Palhinha. Yeah. He does do a decent job with the youth, but I mean, more to be desired.
Yeah,
next question.
Enough of praising Benfica and Porto.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Next question comes in from Marcus Inkunsen, however you say that. He asks, how good do you expect Daniel Bragança will be, and what is his actual ideal position? I've seen a lot of people complaining about his performance today. What do you think about that, Sam?
I think think this season, and I don't want to hate on the kid too much, but he's definitely been better off the bench when the opposition are tired and we need some creativity. When I've seen him start, I've not been too impressed. And I don't think that's his fault. He just doesn't get a lot of game time. He comes on with like 20, 15 minutes to go. And he probably doesn't have like the sharpness that he was used to, like Estoril or even in the B team. But I think he will be. I think he just needs maybe a bit more time. But with Palhinha there being like the midfielders, and if we continue to play Jean Mario, or if he goes, it'll be Matheus Nunes or William Carvalho, who knows? But like, I mean, it just depends, because no one's getting past Palhinha unless he gets sold, and it's between him and Matheus Nunes. And at the moment, I think I'd probably take Matheus Nunes to start over him. But I think he will be, with time, will be there. But I think he still needs a development in the squad. I think coming off the bench is a perfect role for him at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Our midfield went missing, especially in that first half with him and Matheus Nunes. But I think he's a good number 8. He's good on the ball. It's just, yeah, and he's good defensively too. I think today was just one of his worst games, but I agree. But he's better off the bench. Next question comes in from Silva Randajout, clever, at SS or Ask Silva CP. He asks, what do you think about João Pereira and Matheus Reis starting? You know what? Let's just get into the game. Let me pull up the starting 11 right here. So we had in net, we had Antonio Adan in net. We had João Pereira, like you just mentioned, Matheus Reis. Wrong one. Hold on. We had Quach in the, anyways. We had Quach in the back line with there we go. We had Quach in the back line with Inácio, Matheus Reis, and Nuno Mendes. Bragança, Matheus Nunes in the midfield, Pot, Paulinho, and Nuno Santos up top. And then, of course, João Mário Palhinha coming in right at halftime for João Pereira and Bragança, and Jovan coming in for Matheus Reis. Benfica had Helton late, Verissimo, Otamendi, Vertonghen, Grimaldo, Diego Gonçalves, Weigl, Tarat, Cebolinha, Everton, Seferovic, and Pizzi, with Gabriel, Rafa, Nuno Tavares, Darwin, and Waldschmidt coming in. So yeah, back to the question, Sam. What did you think about João Pereira and Matheus Reis starting?
I think João Pereira was a lock just because of Porridge injury. Like, I mean, I didn't really expect anyone else to start, and if it would have been Matheus Nunes a right back anyway. So, João Pereira, I was fine with, especially being the captain as well against Benfica. It's the sort of motivation that an old guy, no offense to him, obviously needs. But Matheus Nunes, again, like I said at the start, I think I would have preferred Palhinha or maybe like a Jean Mario in there, just in terms of a bit of experience, or like I said, just rotate the whole team, because it didn't really make sense to me how Amorim went with experience at the back with Matheus Reis and Coates, and when Quaresma was on the bench, and you know, even up front, I know Thiago Thomas is injured, but on the wings, he puts Nuno Santos instead of like Jovan or Gonzalo Plata. But I think I don't. It's easy to say in hindsight because we lost, right? That it was a bad decision. But seeing the lineup at first, I mean, it was good. Apart from Palhinha not starting, but then I say that's more. If you were to start 2, I think I would have started Palhinha and Matheus Nunes anyway. So in terms of the lineup, I wasn't too shocked, and I think it was, in hindsight, obviously a bad decision, but at the time, I agree with it too.
Yeah, I was, and I said it in our chat. I was actually a little pissed off about Matheus Reis starting. That was my only thing. I wasn't even too bothered about Matheus Nunes and Bragança. I didn't expect them to perform that badly, especially in the first, I should say. Matheus Reis, I'm not convinced that he's a center back at all. And friend of the show, Patrick, I think it's Patrick Swatch, he even tweeted out, and I agree with him 1,000%. The experiment of Matheus Reis at center back is not looking good. You know, he made me miss Neto out there. I think today if we're gonna rotate the squad, I think why wouldn't Amorim play Quaresma? I think Inácio is a stonewall in that defense. I don't see why he insists on keeping him on the right side of defense and not throwing him on the left side of defense, seeing as he's left-footed. He gives us the same characteristics, or at least similar characteristics to what Fidal does. I think Inacio is really good on the ball as well. But I guess that's just me nitpicking. I just haven't been impressed with Mateus Reis at all. Whether that's in center back or left wing back. I think he has much to be desired, especially his passing. His passing is just terrible, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just me. I think there's just one more question, and then we'll get right into the game. Actually, this question is perfect. It comes in from Chris at _fairly local with a 0. He asks, thoughts on the first half. What were your thoughts, man? We were down 3-1. Well, it's 3-0 for most of it until right at the end.
I'll get into just the entire game, but I will start off with the first half. But just to start off, Benfica were the better team, no doubt about it. There was no sort of shady business for me. I mean, I'll get into what I thought of the referee in a minute, but they outplayed us in the first half. They looked like prime Benfica, and we looked like last season Sporting. So I was really disappointed with I think the occasion of the players got to them, and I know there is obviously that mentality of we've won, there's nothing to play for. But in the first half, it looked like they just didn't care. The professional footballers, no matter what the game is, you should have that desire, especially against a rival. But in terms of the overall game, in the second half, I was really, really impressed with the sort of comeback we had. I'm not sure if that's Amorim's doing or just the players, but I'm not going to lie, Danny, at points, especially the last 10 minutes, I was like, we're going to draw this. Like, I've never been hopeful of Sporting in my entire life. Like last season, if it was 4-3, I'd be like, okay, when's Benfica scoring next? Or when are we going to get a penalty disallowed or something like that? But like,
can I admit
weird.
Something real quick?
Go on.
I put a little bet on Sporting coming back, either tying or winning. Let me see. I put a little $15, 5 on a tie, 10 on a win. Would have been a nice payout, but I felt it once the 3-1, especially with Pot weaving his way through and banging that in. I'm like, okay, I'm confident in this. But anyways, Go ahead.
But no, I was gonna say that I thought everyone had a really bad game. Apart from, I was really impressed with Pedro Gonçalves. He seemed like a leader out there. And for me, Nuno Santos as well, I thought was really good, especially in that second half. I think he really had the desire to show his former club, like, you got rid of me. It's like the grudge match, so to speak. But everyone else had a really poor game. Coates, I was really disappointed with. I guess he's due a bad game because of the season he's had, and I'm not going to be too harsh on him. But the first goal he plays, who was it? Was it Seferovic onside, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mateus Rice is positioning on that as well. So it's not just Coates, it's both of them too. But then for their third goal, Coates as well should have jumped earlier with Verissimo. And it's a corner, it's a set piece, so it's not the end of the world. It does happen. But a thing today as well, it's like they were the better team, but the majority of the goals came from our mistakes. And that's a good sign. It's not like they dominated us and every goal was like unstoppable. It was like, okay, Matheus Nunes gave away a stupid penalty, and he's young, he's still learning. I don't know what he was doing there, but fine. But like I said, the Coates and Mateus Rice in the first goal was a mistake. So the second goal, not too much. It was just fantastic play by Benfica. I'm not gonna lie. I was even like, Jesus, that was fantastic. There was no sort of issue on that one for me. But the referee as well. Like, I mean, there was nothing outrageous, I thought, but he kept his yellow cards for Benfica, and especially Weigl. He was due 2 yellow cards in sort of the first 20, 25 minutes. Didn't get a single one. I thought it was going to be good because he gave Grimaldo one almost instantly, and I was like, fair enough. And then Weigl made a few more tackles. Otamendi made a few more tackles that weren't yellows. And it's just some of the plays, I'm not saying just for Sporting as well, there were some plays that literally no contact or like minimal for both teams, and he'd blow it straight away. And it really did kill the vibe in the game in the first half. Second half, I thought he did do a little bit better of letting the game play on. But the worst performance for me, Mateus Rice. Braganza had a terrible game. So did Matheus Nunes, I think. But it did show as soon as we ran on João Mario and Palhinha how much better we did play. And Palhinha is one of the MVPs of the season. João Mario, I know us on this podcast have had a few digs at him. He's not been the greatest, but I think today he was needed. And I think that's maybe why Amorim was trusting him so much this season. But I did see a tweet that made me laugh, and I think you might have retweeted it, but it was like, the one problem with Amorim, he does like have sort of a fetish for players that he just will not drop or will not take out. Paulinho was one of them, which I understand because obviously record signing. Nuno Rice is like a weird one. I don't get. And at the start of the season, Luis Neto, he would not drop, even though he had awful games. But yeah, I mean, we were outplayed in the first half, and I think maybe if we played a bit better, we would have got that 4-4. But I was really impressed with the boys' comeback in the second half. We looked a completely different team. I thought we dominated them, and I genuinely thought Potter scored that fourth goal, but it wasn't to be. But I was impressed with the comeback. A poor game, but other than that, we're still champions, so it doesn't hurt that much. But I would have preferred to go unbeaten.
Facts. Yeah, same. It's just hurt. It stinks because it comes off of them. If we lose this game to to any other team, barring maybe Marítimo, because we also hate Marítimo. It doesn't sting that much. We don't really care. I agree with everything you said. And getting onto the ref, I'm going to ask you, do you think, because there's really two cases we're going to cry about and then Benfica fans are going to cry about. I 1,000% agree with you on the Weigl thing, by the way. I think him not getting a yellow card is a joke. And João Mario on his first foul, he got a yellow. And
I forgot about Verissimo as well, by the way. I'm not sure if you're going to bring that one up.
I was going to bring that up, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But, João Mario gets his first foul. It's a yellow. And then there was a span of 5-10 minutes where the referee was just calling everything their way, even though we won the ball. It was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But getting on Verissimo, I mean, clear penalty. Is that his second yellow?
100%. I was really confused why it wasn't given. And I just still don't understand. He was the last man. I know Vertonghen was still there. He might have intercepted, but Pot was ready to shoot. And he comes across him, and it's a foul. And a foul and a penalty and a yellow card. But I'm telling you this now. If Verissimo wasn't on a yellow card, he would have been given one, if that makes sense. He would have been given a yellow card if he wasn't on one, because that's a clear yellow card. I think the referee knew that it was his second yellow, so he was like, you're not going to give it. But for me, that's the second yellow, and that does change the game. I totally forgot about that, actually. That is the one criticism I have of, big criticism of the referee, because them going a man down at that point, they're going to park the bus. They're not going to probably bring on Darwin and all the schmite. So, yeah, 100% a red card for me.
I agree. I mean, even I hate that we had to watch it on BitTV because those commentators were a joke. Facts. They were trying to claim that they got that Verissimo touched the ball first before fouling him. He doesn't even get you can think that he gets this close to it, but he doesn't even touch the ball at all. And he just gets popped. So there's no excuse as to why that's not a second yellow there. I've seen yellow cards given for less in the box. So I agree with you 1,000%. And then, like you said, against 10 men, especially when we have the confidence, we almost scored and they had 11 men right after. There was just a big save on. I don't know if he ended up touching it. It was at least a corner. I don't think he ended up touching it, but Helton Late seemed to maybe have gotten a hand onto Potts' potential hat trick. Winning or tying goal there. And then the other thing I have to ask, it's going the other way around. And that's what I'm sure Benfica fans are probably crying about, is the potential red, either straight red or second yellow on Nuno Mendes for potentially elbowing Rafa. How did you think that play went?
I think he was really lucky not to get a foul in yellow, because one, he was last man and they probably would have scored. But yeah, for me, that was a foul and a yellow. So I was really surprised that wasn't given. But there was also that one as well. There's two other decisions that I think Benfica maybe have a right to moan about, and that when Nuno Santos kneed Weigl in the head. I'm not sure if you remember that. And then there was also the Matthews Rice studs up challenge on Pizzi at one point, which would have been harsh, but I think, it was fucking stupid by Matthews Rice. So I think I'm not going to sit here and say the referee was a lampion, because he wasn't. He was just shit for both teams.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, Nuno Mendes for me, that should have been a foul, goal scoring opportunity, because they definitely would have scored if that doesn't happen, by the way. And that's not a knock on Adan or Nuno Mendes, but yeah, that would have been a goal for me. So yeah, 100% that should have been a yellow as well.
So to me, I don't think it would have been, because I think that's Nuno Mendes winning the position over Rafa, and Rafa falling to the floor too easily. I think I think it was Matt Paiva who put it up right after the Jesus press conference, when he's like, "You're stuck in olho, yeah, yeah." Like that's the exact same thing that happened, only now with a Benfica player. It's literally one little touch, and as Nuno Mendes just sort of putting himself like in front of Rafa to win position, and then Rafa just falling to the floor easily and claiming that it's an elbow. To me, I'm actually going to disagree. I don't think it was a foul. If anything, a yellow card should have been shown to Rafa for simulation. The studs up, though, I 1,000% agree with you.
Do you remember when Paulinho sort of kicked, well, I say kicked, like grazed Otamendi, and Otamendi falls to the floor in that typical, like you said, the George Jesus. Like, I love how I said this when it happened, when he was in that press conference, that how he has the right to say that when he's got like Servi and he's got Otamendi, he's got all these players that like are renowned for diving. But yeah, sorry to interrupt anyway.
No, facts. The only other thing, I agree with you. I don't think he was necessarily a Olympion. I just think he was shit, the referee, because they also called a foul on Kawach for standing in place like this, Otamendi running into him, which was ridiculous, you know. And there was another play that I forgot. Oh, the Weigl one. I actually don't think I disagree with you there as well. I think Nuno Santos wins the ball first. I mean, maybe I guess I didn't necessarily see him knee him to the head, but I thought he won the ball, and then the referee called that.
Yes. So the original foul, he tackled him, and I think he got the ball, but it was given as a foul to Benfica's way. So Benfica. Sorry about that.
All good.
Benfica. What was I at that point? So Weigl got the ball, and the ref blew it to Benfica, and then Weigl goes to get up, and Nuno Santos either don't know if it was deliberate or not, sort of knees him in the head, and he does get like a blood running down his head.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's deliberate or not, but
fair enough. Where else can we go with this? Yeah, I thought similar to you. I thought the first half Benfica had, second half it was all us. I mean, I think we were. I want to say Benfica were the deserved winners. You know, like I thought that first half, especially, I think outweighed our good second half. But with that being said, we had Pot hitting the post immediately after their 4-1. We had a Paulinho chance that, you know, the header. I can't blame him for the header, you know, but maybe try to head that more to the ground rather than trying to put that on the other side of the net. But I digress. That's another chance we could have had. And then, like we mentioned earlier, the Pot, I thought he tied it 4-4 right after we got that penalty. We could have been here very happy with a 5-4. We could have been here even satisfied with a 4-4. It ended up being 4-3. I think that's the story of Sporting season this year. Like, I mean, we're champions and all that, but the amount of chances that have went missing that we should have put away, today finally bit us in the ass, I think. And yeah, I can't think of anything else. I don't know if you have anything else about the game that you want us to talk about. Seferovic still tied with goals with Pot. Thank God. That's another race that we have going for us. But anyways, yeah. I don't know if you're going to say anything.
Who do Benfica play next week? Do you know?
Guimarães.
Okay. So,
unless...
tough
game. They
game.
don't have anything to play for.
Yeah, and then Marítimo are going to, obviously, they want all the points to stay up. I would like to see a full rotated team. So at this moment, we take the loss, or we take the draw, whatever. But like seeing like I really cannot pronounce the guy's name. Is it Esugu? Dario?
Esugu, yeah.
Esugu, yeah. Okay. I would like to see him start, 16 years old, maybe start with a more experienced man like Palhinha, sort of to guide him through. Quaresma, I'd like to see. Andre Paulo, I'd like to see as well. You know, even if it's for like a half, say like if he wants to start Max and then bring on Andre Paulo, or start it down and bring whatever. But and Tunes as well, I'd like to see for personal reasons. But you know, in terms of this game, I think, like I said, Benfica deserve to win. I'm not gonna be salty and complain that we did lose it ourselves, but they were fantastic as well. If only they could plan that all season, they might have actually done something. But I don't know. If Porto lose, right, Benfica are still in for second place. So Rio Ave obviously need the points for relegation. Ferenc got a win today.
Yeah.
So
And
Boy told. Yeah. So, but in terms of the game, it's disappointing to lose. Obviously, never want to lose, especially to Benfica. But at the end of the day, we are still champions. Our last loss in the league, if you remember, was Benfica as well in July 2020. So that's nearly a whole calendar year without a loss in the league. So we should be proud of what we've accomplished. Like, I mean,
that's a good point.
Like we did lose to Maritimo, obviously, in the Taça de Portugal. We lost to Lask in September in the Champions League, Europa League qualifiers. Sorry. So, like, I mean, 3 losses all season. Not bad, no.
Exactly. That's a good point. It's a good point. I forgot about that. I agree though. Yeah, next game I hope to see a rotated squad as well. I was gonna man of the match. I guess we can also include a Benfica player if you'd like. I'm gonna go with Pot because, like you said, I think his leadership today was shown. He wanted to score even more. He should have scored or could have scored more. And I think easily one of his better performances at Sporting. And quick mention, I think this is easily match of the year. 4-3. It was jogo de loucuras. But yeah, man of the match, dude.
I just want to, before I ask, we're playing Maritimo, we're playing them at home.
Yeah.
So we've got the 10% fans, right? So it's, I don't know what that is in the other lot. Probably like 1,000 or something like that. 4,000, right? Is that about right?
Probably, yeah. I think it's like 50. So maybe 10% is, like 4,000, 5,000.
5,000, yeah. If it is Joel Pereira's last game, I would like to see him captain and like be subbed off, just in front of the fans. But anyway, I'll give 2 man of the matches. One's Benfica, one's a Sporting. I was really impressed with Everton. I said it before we came on that I rate him highly, even though he's a Benfica player. He was great in the Copa Libertadores either last season or a few seasons ago. Pizzi as well. Shout out to him. He played great as well. But for me, I'd give man of the match for Benfica to Everton, and for us, Pot was levels above any other player, and Nuno Santos will probably be up there for me. But even Jovan, when he came on, actually was fantastic.
He did well.
As well. Yeah. Definitely changed the game. So, but for me, the 2 goals from Pot, definitely it was man of the match for me.
Yeah, and we barely even mentioned that Nuno Santos, that goal was pretty nice. I mean, it was like side-footed,
good assist as well by
Paulinho.
It was a good move all around.
Agreed. All right. I mean, let's talk a bit about the league then. I mean, of course, we have Rio Ave still playing. It's still 0-0. I was keeping an eye on that. But as we just mentioned, Ferenc and Boa Vista with a big win. Currently, Rio Ave, because they're tied with Porto, have 32 points. So they sit in that 16th playoff spot that faces 3rd place in the 2nd division. But I think Nacional is pretty much, Nacional is down unless they win. No, I think they're still down. Anyways, between Ferenc, Rio Ave, Boa Vista. So Ferenc has 31 points, Rio Ave 32 at the current moment, Boa Vista 33, Marítimo 34, Portimonense 34. Between those 5 teams, who do you see in second last, and who do you see in that playoff spot? And I'll actually, let me tell you who they play. Ferenc next week plays Santa Clara. Rio Ave plays, of course, it all depends. Nacional. Boa Vista plays Gil Vicente. Tough game. Marítimo. They have Guimarães tomorrow, and then of course they have Sporting. And Portimonense will only have Braga. That's actually tough. So what do you think, dude?
I'll tell you what I want, and I'll tell you what I think, because they are very much different. What I want is Ferenc and Rio Ave to stay up, and I would love to see both Madeira teams relegated, because I hate going there, because they always seem to either fuck us over or like weather conditions or delay the game. It's just a pain in the ass. So I would love both of them to go down. I really want Ferenc and Rio Ave to stay up, and Ferenc obviously because of Ryan Gould and like his sort of underdog story as well. They've got a Beto as well, and Andre Pinto. Like guys, I know Entrepreneur was only here for like a season, but these are guys that have played for us. And for that same vein, Rio Ave, Chico Gerards, Gelson Dalla, Carlos Mané, Marcelo played for Rio Ave, right?
I think it's Mureirense. Give me a second.
Yeah, but again, the former Sporting players I'd like to see, because I've always rated I don't rate Chico that much as a footballer, but as a human and as a person, great guy. I know he met Irish Sam. He met him in a bar I think 2 years ago, and apparently was like one of the nicest, like most like proper gentleman. It was like really nice, but I think I would love to see both teams go down Maritimo Nacional. But I think it's going to be exactly the same as it is today, unfortunately. I think it doesn't change. I think it's going to be Nacional, Ferenc, and then is it Rio Ave in the relegation playoff right now?
Currently, because they're tied, it's currently actually, hold on. Yeah, because they're tied. It's currently them, yeah. Because Boavista is a point ahead.
So I think it stays like that. And just to confirm, right? So the relegation playoffs, is it third bottom versus third in the
second?
League?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Which that is a whole like other thing in itself, because the second division is spicy to say the least. I think between second and fifth or sixth, there's still like 3 points. Let me just see. Shavjat actually won today. Hold on. Shavj won and Roca won as well against Mafra. So in the second division, it's currently Roca is now in second. A game in hand though. Vizela play tomorrow against Benefiel, who's having a decent season. They're in seventh, but nowhere near the promotional spots. Ferenc can still get promoted with 58 points. Shavj can still get that third spot. I think Coimbra or Academica can still, 2 games left. I think they can still reach that. They're only 4 points behind Vizela. Say that Hugo Almeida, I think he retired.
Oh, okay. Because I think he played them last year or the year before. And to be fair, right, Academica's got like a really weird fan base, but I've always liked their stadium. I remember when they made it into Europe and they got the banner outside the stadium, and it's close to where I used to live in Portugal. Well, I say my holiday places in Portugal. So like it's literally like a 45-minute drive. And I remember the last time I went to watch, I think we won like 4-0. And like it's a big stadium for one of the teams, especially in the second division now. But like, I mean, I don't, it's gonna sound really weird, right? But when you see like a team's badge and you just always think like they should be in like the first division. It's just a really weird feeling. Like I see Academica's badge and I'm like, okay, they should be in the first division. Like even like in the championship in England, I see like, I don't know, I know it's ages ago now, but Blackburn and like Sunderland and all of these players teams that I'm just like, a part of my childhood, I guess, is really what it is. But for me, I'd like to see Academica come up. I really do like Academica.
Same, me too. I like Academica, and I'm a Beta Mar fan, right? And that's like a big rivalry. Academica, they deserve to be in the first division, man. It's been too long without them here. But it's like I said, it's a tough ask. It's 4 points now off Vizela. Vizela still have to play tomorrow. Coimbra play Benfica, or sorry, I keep calling them Coimbra. Academica keep playing. They play Benfica. Bibs having a good season. I mean, Shavj had a big win today.
Shavj, I wouldn't mind coming up as well. When they were here a few seasons ago, I always thought they were a good team to play against. Probably not like good for us, but like good, like when they used to go to like Benfica and Porto and all these guys. They're very tough away as well.
When they had Ishtaku, they played like prime Barcelona some games, man. Like Tiki Taka, they were dirty. I would like to see them back too.
As well.
Say that again?
Was Battaglia at Sharks?
Yeah, he was on loan from Braga, but he was. Still 0-0. Thanks, Vitor, for the update. And another thing, just on the second division, since we're on here, Porto B might get relegated, which you'd love to see. I think me and Christian keep messaging like back and forth because Villafranquense and Oliveirense this week, or last week at least, they won their games, so they put Porto B bottom. So that's another thing to keep your eye on. Porto B might join us in the third division next year. Join our B team in the third division. But yeah, I mean, between those two, I think I'm hoping. I don't know too much about Vizela. I mean, My dad says they're a big team, like back in his day, but I don't know Vizela that much. I'd either, I'm with you. Either Chaves, Académica, or even Feirense. I wouldn't be mad at to get that third spot. I think it's going to be Feirense though. I'm just Mystic Daniel throwing that out there, and I think Rio Ave is going to get that third playoff position, or that third bottom, that playoff spot. I think it's the end of Feirense Nacional. One good thing that might come out of that, and we'll jump right into transfer talk now. Ryan Gauld from Feirense scored a penalty today, put them 1-0. He won the game for them, basically. I think he deserves a statue in front of Feirense's stadium if they somehow stay in the first division. But do you see Ryan Gauld coming back to Sporting or mini Messi?
I just want to point out as well, I forgot to mention this, Feirense kits are clean. I wish I had them. They are so nice. But like, I think the rumor is that he's obviously linked to us, but because we have like a buyback or like a percentage, something like that. But I think Porto also were interested in him, and I'm not sure he'd. Yeah, Braga too. I'm not sure he'd come back to us, just because I don't think he's guaranteed that much game time under us, and that's not me being BK saying our players are amazing, but no disrespect to Angold at all, right? But we've got youngsters coming up like Braganza. We've got Matheus Nunes, even on the wings. We've got Gonzalo Plata, and we've got, off the top of my head, we've got a few young players coming through. So, I mean, as much as I would love to see him back, I don't think he wants it. And I understand why he doesn't want it, because he was burned by us. The Setúbal incident is probably it did fuck him over a bit, because I remember he was playing well, then he got called back, and then obviously he can't play for 3 teams or register 3 teams in a calendar year, so he was sat in the reserves. But I would love to see him back, but I don't think it's happening.
I agree, and I'll even go further and say I would love to have him back. I don't think we should get him back, because where does he fit into Amorim's system? If we had Silas still, if we had even Jorge Jesus, I'd say maybe bring him back, because we sort of do play like with the number 10 or a false striker or a false 9 sort of, and I think Gauld can play in that position. I don't see Ryan Gauld as much as a number 8. I don't see him unless he can.
If Pot goes, then I can see it.
That's the other thing I was going to say. He can maybe play the Pot position and maybe substitute him. Rotate him. I mean, we're in for Gayu. That's another name I'll ask you about. But, so if we're looking in terms of rotating between Porto and Gayu, I can see us maybe getting a Ryan Gauld to rotate between Pot and himself. But I don't see that happening. And I think we have, like you said, we have Bragança. We have Giovanni, who can maybe even play the Pot position if he stays. We have a few good academy players, good B team players that I'd like to see given a shot. And I think we're going to be in the market for a decent winger as well. I feel like I'm forgetting a winger right now too that I can't think of. But anyways, I digress. What do you think of Isgayu?
When he was first here in his first spell, I'm going to admit that I wanted him gone, because I really didn't like him at the time, and I think he needed it as well. And you could tell he's turned into one of the best right wing backs, whatever position you want to call it in the league. He's really came into his own. But I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say it for 2 reasons. He's going to be an expensive backup if we get Porro, and there's no point of having an expensive backup. And I think we should spend our money on the first team. And I think we could probably get someone from either another league or within the league or even within our academy to come in and be a backup right back. I don't see the point of having a backup that's going to cost like 10 plus million or 8 million, probably some players thrown in. I would prefer to get someone either from the B team or just a cheaper option. And as well, I don't want to do any more business with Braga, honestly.
Exactly.
We're literally gonna be Braga B, like how Southampton and Liverpool were back in the day. It's literally us and Braga. So I really don't want it.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I do like Isgayu as well, but yeah. Would you prefer Carlos Mené instead? I know we kind of brushed on it last pod too, but
no, I don't want him anywhere near it. Again, for childhood purposes, I like him. He was like the next big thing, and the injuries did fuck him over. But I don't. Does he even start for Joav? Because I know when
Not
we've had to
always.
get to he's come off the bench. So yeah, exactly.
Let me see if he's starting
got
today.
better. We've definitely got better
Sorry,
in the
go.
academy. No, that's all right. We've
Okay.
definitely got better in the academy. I mean, is like I know we're not going to keep him, but like, is Diaby better than Carlos Mane? Like, probably. But yeah, I don't want Mane back. I don't want him anywhere near the team, to be honest.
I agree. Keeping on the Rio topic, because I do see him that he's starting today as well. He's at a, I don't want to say, he's at a decent season at Rio Ave. He was on loan, or he's on loan from Rio Ave at Sporting. Could play the right wing back position as well. Rafael Camacho, I think a forgotten name. What do you think about that? Do you think he's even coming back for preseason?
He's damaged goods at this point. I see Juice Box in the comments saying Rossier. I mean,
I don't think he's coming back. He said he doesn't want to come back,
which is understandable. You can say he's a rat, but like we did, especially towards the end of the season, did fuck him over a bit of just like not letting him get anywhere near the team. But like he's coming to his own in Besiktas, so fair play to him as well. He's obviously was one before his injury, was supposed to be one of the best right backs in Europe, but I don't know. I think Camacho's damaged goods. He's obviously still young, but if he's okay to come off the bench, and like I know someone for his age probably would prefer the game time at somewhere like Rio Ave, or I know he was linked to Croatia where Ristovski went at one point, but obviously they went with Ristovski anyway. But for me, no, Camacho I think needs to be sold or loaned out. He might become good one day, but I think we probably have better than the academy, and I think why his value is probably at his highest it ever will be right now. We should probably try and sell him, or at least if we like sell him for cheap and include like a percentage of the next transfer, just in case he turns out to be something. But for me, no.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I mentioned his name and I just got the notification he got subbed off. So I cursed him. So there you go. Garrick saying, Garrick, this is a good comment too, but I agree we shouldn't do necessarily business with Braga, but I would be all over Galeno and Musrati. Musrati's having a crazy season, but especially Galeno. I think we need at least another winger. What do you think? What do you think we need from this team going forward? I know we still have to talk, you don't know who's about to be sold, but if we take apart, we think Nuno Mendes is likely to leave. I mean, apparently the rumors of City don't shut up, so there has to be some sort of stock in it. What else do you think, aside from a left back, another right back? Like, what else do you think we need?
Well, I know there is one other name we're linked to. I won't bring it up. I'll let you bring it up. Of the midfielder role, but we'll talk that in a minute. But according to record, we're linked. Amorim and Varane has already spoke about next season's reinforcement. They want two strikers, one who's a mobile striker, and then I don't know what the other one would be. Maybe like a backup, I guess, or maybe like I don't know. And I think it was a right back, a left back, and maybe that was it. And I think maybe a winger. But if I were to say the main priority is definitely going to be left back, even if Nuno Mendes doesn't go to City, we see the rumours. Like if you follow our the podcast account on Twitter, which you probably all do because you're here, but like Juventus, Lazio, Napoli, Man City, Man United, Liverpool. I'm trying to think of, because I've had to tweet that many times. The amount of pictures I've got of him for different articles, I think I have like 18 photos saved of him just to tweet out. But I think left back is priority and a backup striker, because I'm not really in the Thiago Tomas fan club. Although he's won me over a bit with the meme material we've got from him. I really do appreciate it. But I think, to be honest, right, I think a loan move would probably benefit Thiago Tomas, or maybe just play him in the wing, out on the wing instead of a striker. Because you can back me. I've always said I think he will be a good winger, he's just not a good finisher. So if we want to move him up to the wing and bring in a striker, I'm totally fine with that. But for me, a left back and a striker, backup striker, are my main priorities.
I agree. I think if we can get Beto on the cheap from Portimonense, we get him.
No way. His value's way too high.
I agree. I don't think we'll get him. I'm not even mad at the Tondela guy.
Mario Gonzalez.
Mario Gonzalez, 15 goals this season so far, looking good. Let me just quickly bring this up because you mentioned them, and I just have to mention how much I fucking love this picture and how much I hope he doesn't go to Roma like the rumor is saying he will. What a picture, man! What a man! Gotta love it.
I'll try and send you this picture as well that in Sonia's tweeted. I'll send it to you if I have it. Just give me.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know that one too. That one also bomb. Yeah. Send that.
I'll send it in the main group chat.
Sounds good.
Send.
But anyways, yeah, like I think you're right. I think we need a for sure a left back. I think we need another center midfielder, to be honest. It's a shame. Who are you saying I was going to mention? Ishtaku? Because it seems like Ishtaku is about to go to Porto.
Let's just say he's not very liked in the sporting world.
Oh, William. Oh, okay. Yes, we have to talk about that. What do you think about William coming back? Because it's a position we might need to fill in, especially if Palinha does leave. He almost left this summer. Now his valuation is even higher than this summer, so we could see him going to I'd say a Wolves wouldn't be that unrealistic of an option. Maybe even selling him to France. Who knows? I'm not trying to bash this administration from saying this. I'm just saying who knows with this administration, because they are unpredictable in transfer market. They might be looking to sell Palinha at the highest he may possibly be. Might go with us to the Euros. Might have a good Euro. We'll see. Mm-hmm. What do you think about William coming in, either filling in that spot, playing alongside him? What do you think? He was a good player for us.
I'm going to preface this by saying, I said this a few podcasts ago, probably 3 months ago now, but we've won the league for the first time in 19 years, right? Coates and Palinha have been there for ages. I would have no problem if they went to the current administration and said, look, we've won the league. Our value is at all-time high right now. I would obviously don't be a dick about it. Don't be like an Adrian or a Rui Patricia or William, whatever. If they are nice about it and say, you know what, I am grateful for everything that's happened here, but I would like to leave, or maybe paraphrase it better than that. I'm trying, basically, what I'm trying to say. Like they've won the league, they've given everything. Especially Coates was a joke at one point, and then from there, all the hate he got to win a title. And say with Palinha, if they wanted to say my value is highest, if you want to get a good transfer value for me, then do. But I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, right? I do rate William Carvalho as a player, and I do.
Okay,
I
was going to be devil's advocate if you weren't, but go ahead. Sorry, go.
No, it's all right. So he's been injured with a back injury, and I don't think he's going to make the Seleção for the Euros. To preface that, but
he shouldn't.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't. But if he came back, right, and he apologized for the way he left, and if he goes to play 100%, right, we've had Lampião captain, be our manager. We've had someone who, when he was at Benfica, liked Facebook pages that Sporting was shit and Sporting this in Nuno Santos and obviously Ruben Amorim respectively. If we can accept them, right, why can't we accept William if he comes back and sort of apologizes for what he did? And if William comes in and he gives us 2016 William Carvalho, I would probably, it would leave a bad taste in my mouth, don't get me wrong. But if he come back and said, you know what, the way I left was questionable, I regret what happened, blah, 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 fine. But at the same point as well, he was linked to Leicester in January, right? And I think realistically, what are Real Betis going to try and get from us? Considering they've got part of his percentage in the Vidal deal as well. So unless they're going to sell it to us on the cheap, anything under sort of 15 million or under, which is, I don't think they'd say. I don't think they take that. Considering, I think, did they end up paying 18 for him or something like that?
I think so.
Unless it's a loan with an option to buy.
That's the only thing I was gonna say, because I didn't read the news article. You tweeted it today, right? Is it a loan deal? Did they?
It doesn't say. Anything? It just said that we're linked to it. We're linked to him. And the news source, I'm going to be honest, I've not heard of it before. It's a source in Spain, I think. But I don't know. But it is really difficult because I can see the comments already saying that he backstabbed it, and he did. He 100% did. No doubt in my mind. But if he comes back and he plays well, right, and let's say we win a title, is anyone gonna still be? I can understand if you're still not going to be his biggest fan, but like for me, if he plays well, comes back and apologizes, then I have no problem with it. The only one I wouldn't accept out of those lot would be Rafael Leao and maybe Rui Patricio. I think
I was gonna ask you that actually, because if you're William to take William back, and I think William was like the spearhead of like the conflict between the players and the fans. Well, would you do the same with Rafael Leao? I personally, okay, I was gonna play devil's advocate. I'm glad you did, because I don't want William. I loved William. I don't want William back either, just as an integrity point of view. And like Garrick said, you'd rather have a professional lump than a backstabbing Sportingista. Agreed, and especially because he was one of our he was the second captain, in fact, that season. But similar to what you said, I mean, at first I didn't want Bruno Fernandes back. I didn't want Bruno Fernandes even holding the captaincy, and now I love the man, and all is forgiven because he gave us an incredible season and a half, 2 seasons, however long it was. But William, literally, if he does come back, he has to do that performance non-stop. He has to perform to Bruno Fernandes levels. I'm not talking about goal scoring, but as a CDM, in terms of he has to win every tackle. He has to put in a crazy like 95% pass completion rate, some shit like that, for me to forgive him. But on that vein, I'd rather have Rafael Leão back out of all of them, because he was at least a kid listening to his dad, who, I mean, he's a promising forward. I mean, after the Alcochete attacks, he's probably looking at Sporting like, this place is a disaster. Why would I want to stay here? He's a ratu. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I'm saying out of all of them, I think Rafael Leão more than any. And Rafael Leão, I think, has gotten the most abuse out of any.
That bridge is burnt. I think Sporting took him to court. Like, there's no way, unless Sporting going to say, you know what, that 15 million that you owe us, because they're going to have to waive that if he comes back, because they're not going to. He's not going to pay for free, is he? So
no.
I just mean, I don't see that happening. And thinking about it now, you said William Kvalis beheaded it. For me, I thought it was more Patricio, but I can obviously being the captain and vice captain, they're sort of both to blame. Again, Rui Patricio, I think, is different because I don't think Adan is better than him in terms of ability, right? But Adan, what he's shown this season in terms of, his kid was born in Lisbon and he said, my kid's going to be a Sportingista. He doesn't know anything to us. He's just a player to us, but he's been fantastic and he's proved his performances. Even when he's made mistakes, he owns it and doesn't sort of like let it linger. Whereas Patricia made mistakes before, especially towards the end of it, and just sort of like let it. That was his last month at Sporting was Frangos and a rescind pretty much, and that's how he's remembered. Which, I mean, I guess is unfair, right? Because obviously he was there many years, obviously won the Euros as well. But I think Richard said it as well in the comments. Winning does change perspective of opinion. And I think if William came back and we won, let's say we perform well in the Champions League, if we go to, I don't know, round 16 quarterfinals, right? For me, that's a success. If we win the league again, that's a success. All is forgiven for me. But I can understand, right? I'm not saying, oh, I'm right and you're wrong, because I can understand why people say no. And I can agree with it to an extent. But I mean, I was wrong about Amorim, I'll admit. I was on the fence about Nuno Santos, but I said give him a chance. But Amorim was one who I was like, no. And Fabio Coentrão, actually. And they're both players that, or player manager, that I hated for allegiances and previous comments, whatever. And they came and they showed that they can like do it for the shirt and do it for the badge. So if Amorim doesn't come and like does that, I'd probably say no. But just because of what's happened in the sort of the past year, 2 years, I wouldn't be against it completely.
But also Juice Box Leal, he brings up a good point. These players are kind of done with in terms of William, Adrian. I mean, Adrian, I don't want Adrian ever in the club.
Yeah,
especially after forcing his way out.
He's awful now. Yeah,
exactly. But Adrian's done. William, I'm with you. I'm on the fence about it only because he was a good player. Is he still a good player? That has a lot to be
I think he is, because when you think about like centre defensive mids, right? Obviously, he's got the back injury, like I said. He's never been fast, and when you get older, obviously that's what you lose the most is speed. He's good at controlling the ball and passing, and he's got some somewhat shaky defensively. But in terms of how Pirlo went, I'm not comparing obviously the two, but like how Pirlo was like 40s and he was still peeing passes. He was still giving he was like an engine. He wasn't the fastest, but he could pass the ball 40 yards and hit the player on the head. So I think Adrian is past it. Adrian is far too gone. And I think maybe that has something to do with the Leicester transfer and him not playing for, I think it was 5 or 6 months, which I think he fucked his career by going to Leicester. Mm-hmm. But William, I think he's 28, 29. I don't think he's older than that, right?
I don't think he's in 30s yet.
Yeah, he's had an injury, hence why he hasn't played it. But
he's had a lot of injuries at Betis, though. That's the other issue with William. And he's coming back to Sporting to resurrect his career, really. Let's be honest. Similar to how João Mario last season, he's 29, actually. He's going to be 30 next season. So similar to how João Mario came last season, he said he didn't want to come back to Sporting or come back to Portugal, and now he came back to sort of resurrect his career. And I guess he has. I mean, I don't know if he'll be part of the Euro squad, but he has resurrected it. He had a good season. Nothing spectacular, but a good season.
I think William might be.
He's a champion at the end of the day, exactly. And he started most of the games at least. I think William is looking at that and wanting to do the same. I think that's maybe why the paper talks and the agents are already starting to filter these things in to either get Sportingistas ready for this or not.
And just saying as well, I wouldn't want him outright to place. If this is only if Palhinha goes, I should probably say that. If Palhinha goes, then fine. I don't want a midfielder Palhinha and William. They're both good players in their own right, but fucking hell, that would just not be good. That they're they need to be on their own. We can't have two of the same players, otherwise it will just sort of lead.
But on that same issue, I thought Portugal looked better with Danilo and William playing sort of as an 8 rather than a center defensive mid.
But that's Fernando Santos parking the bus, really, and the counter. We don't really play like that here. Where I mean, some games we did. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
Fair enough. I hope he doesn't come back because that's all hell breaks loose. I think, but I'm still against it. I'm still against it because he did fuck over the team. I don't want us, but at the same time, I see this administration doing it because. It wasn't that long ago that Varandas or this administration gave him like a box to sit in to watch a game, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? Him and I think Rui Patricio as well. So it wouldn't shock me if we go ahead and do this shit.
And they wished him. I think they wished him happy birthdays on social media. Not this season, I think, but in seasons before. So I remember there was that whole thing. They didn't wish. They didn't wish someone who was under Bruno's administration, which I really can't remember.
Inácio.
That's it. Yeah, and they wished Adrian happy birthday, and everyone was like, "What the fuck? Like, come on."
Yeah.
It's definitely something this administration will pull 100%.
Fair enough. And sorry, Nuberto, I don't know if I was saying Ferenc or Ferenc, either or. My bad. But anyways, the only other rumor, our dream has come to an end. Jorge Mendes has put water on the fire.
Has it? Or is this just, he's not going
mind games. He wants to up the price, baby. That's all he wants.
The thing is with the Ronaldo deal as well, we've had an awful relationship with Jorge Mendes. I know it's improved recently with the players we've brought in, but especially under Bruno Cavalli, he hated that guy. And fair enough. So I think there's probably a bridge to be repaired there, but I think he's got one more season like a PSG or a team like that. I don't think he goes to China or he moves in Italy or he goes like an Inter Milan or AC Milan. I think he's definitely gone from Juve 100%. It's just where he goes. I think they won today, so they might be in Champions League. So I think he might stay.
Depends on the AC Milan result, and I think AC was winning 1-0. Let me see. They are. Oh no, sorry, that's Roma. Roma's winning 2-0, by the way. But AC. Oh, it depends on the Napoli. And Napoli plays tomorrow against. Sorry for totally interrupting you here.
That's okay.
Against Fiorentina, away at Fiorentina.
Okay.
But so it depends. It depends.
Yeah. If he doesn't get Europe, he's gone from. Champions League. He's gone from from Juve. I cannot imagine him playing Europa League at all, unless obviously they go out in the third round or something. Sorry, if they finish third in
And
the Champions League groups.
how much stock do you put into UEFA even kicking them out of whatever European competition they're in next season anyways?
None.
You think UEFA has the balls to do that to them and Barcelona and Real?
There's probably, especially with fans coming back, I think they're not going to do that. And hopefully it goes to 100% fan capacity. But, you know, you can say what you want about the three teams, but they've probably got the biggest following of those three in the entire world. Barcelona, obviously, worldwide. Real Madrid, worldwide. Juventus, I'm not sure, are up there with those two. But they're probably the three, apart from maybe like Man United, are like the three most marketable teams in the world. So for me, I think Ronaldo's going to PSG next year, and I'll call it now: Neymar, Mbappe, and Ronaldo. I know he's been linked to Real Madrid, but I'm pretty sure the president, who name is forgetting, has slipped my mind now, has said no, and I think Ronaldo said no to that one as well. Yeah, Fiorentina.
Perez. I agree. I think he's out of Juve. I don't see him moving in Italy. I don't think Ronaldo's much of a guy for conflict in terms of with the fans. You know, he wants to go to a country and wants to feel the love. I wouldn't be surprised. I agree with you. I think the likely option would be PSG. It depends on how much they're willing to spend. The thing is, as well, there's a rumor going around that if Juve don't make the Champions League, they're going to have to sell a lot of players because they won't be able to make any money, blah, blah, blah. And Ronaldo's going to be one of them. I don't think PSG pays that much for Ronaldo and risks that much, seeing as they already have Mbappe there. And I mean, Neymar is one of the most, you know, he likes to be the superstar, even though maybe he's not the superstar at PSG. You know what I mean? I don't know how that'll be in the dressing room. And if even Pochettino can with all those superstars.
Neymar's wanted to go back to Barcelona. Apparently, there was a rumor he wants to play with Messi again. And I know Messi hasn't signed a new deal at Barcelona. So it could be a window where both those move. So if, let's say, Messi does go to PSG with Neymar, then Ronaldo, I have no idea where Ronaldo goes. But, I mean, are we missing an obvious one? George Mendes? Wolves? It's like, can you imagine him going to Wolves? But no, I have no idea.
I can see him going to United again.
Yeah, nah.
I mean, they only have Cavani up front, if we're being honest.
But they also have like Rashford and Greenwood and all these young players coming through. So, but I reckon they take him. I agree.
I think Ollie likes playing Rashford. I think Rashford now is a certified winger.
Yeah,
I don't think he's a 9 anymore. Even for England, I don't think he'll play as a number 9. And yeah, I mean PSG. Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to PSG too, but it depends. Like, there's not many other options out there for him after that. Like
the thing is with Ronaldo, and what makes this move so difficult, there are a lot of things that need to happen for him to move. If Juve don't get Champions League, then he's gone. If Messi doesn't go to PSG, then he goes to PSG. If Man United don't sign a striker, then they sign Ronaldo. But I have no idea, to be honest. It's one of those. I think he'll go to PSG, but I don't know. But did you also see Dolores on Instagram? She quote tweeted or quote storied, whatever it's called on Instagram, George Mendes' statement with like the clapping emoji saying that, oh, he's not going back to Portugal. And I was like, haven't you been saying that you wanted him back this whole time?
I didn't see that, no.
If you go onto Instagram, it's still up there. So if you take a look.
I'll have a look. But yeah, I didn't believe in him coming back, not yet at least. I think when he's 40, he'll come back, but not yet.
When his career is coming to an end, and I think we may be at that point sooner rather than later, but not right now. I think he's got the mentality of, I want to win everything. So it's for me, he's going to go. He's won everything with United, won everything with Real Madrid. He's won everything apart from Champions League with Juventus. So he goes to PSG and wins another league title. Who can say, I've won 4 league titles in 4 different countries, being the top goal scorer in every one? Not many people, if not anyone. So, yeah, I mean, unless he goes to Germany, but I've said before, the German philosophy isn't really the way of buying old players. They sort of like to buy within Germany. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't see him going to Germany either. Philippe saying we've been trolled by an elderly lady. I agree. Thanks. I agree. But I think, I agree. I think with Ronaldo, he's waiting for a Euro and a World Cup, and then he's hanging up the boots, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else in terms of Sporting news? Not that I can think of.
Yeah. Eduardo Quaresma is linked to Serie A team Spezia on a season-long loan for next season. What do you think? Would you think a loan move is good for him, or would you prefer to see him stick around?
At this point, I think it's good for him. If he can't even get in when we're rotating players, I think a loan deal is good. And a team like Spezia would be good in terms of feeling secure that we might get him back if he has a good season. What I don't want is like a decent team like maybe like Valencia or Monaco come to mind, where it's like he gets in, and if he plays really well, they can buy him. But yeah, I agree. I think a loan move to an Italian team, especially, like they focus a lot tactically and on defense. And it might be good for him if he's not getting into the team because of maturity. It'll be good to quickly mature without his boys around him, right? Like,
yeah.
But I love the kid. I hope he stays, right? I hope he can prove a point, because last season when he came in, we looked better defensively, and I thought he played good enough. But
I think it was COVID and the back injury sort of derailed his momentum, because obviously COVID. I've not had it from experience, but from what I've been told, it does affect your fatigue and your sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Stamina. Oh yeah. Yeah. But for me, as long as it's not a lower option to buy, then I'm fine with it. But we know Varandas has done it with. Oh, sorry, Cesar Sintra has done it with Demiral. Varandas has done it with Matheus Pereira. If you're going to loan these players out, just loan them, and either make the loan to buy astronomically high so they won't pay it, or just do it without it. Because I'll tell you what, Matheus Pereira here would have been fantastic this season. And I know we didn't really need him, but him, Demiral as well, obviously playing at Juventus is probably one of our biggest transfer mistakes in the last sort of 10 years, I would say, because there's a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Especially outgoing, he's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah. There's two more rumors if you're done with that one, by the way. So
of course. Yeah.
The rumor is, I'm just looking at my phone. Jovan met with Varandas and Amorim to discuss his future contract renewal or transfer sale. Do you think he should stay, or do you think he's better off going somewhere else?
I think he should stay. I like the kid, so I hope he can stay, because I think he has a lot to give to the team. Maybe for the better of his career, for him to actually get starting time, he should leave. But with that being said, I've been saying that I think he's going to be sold for a while now. I'm surprised he wasn't in January. I will say, and maybe this is just me digging into things and looking at things in a certain way, when I was seeing the celebration of the title, there was some sort of exchange of words between Varandas and Jovan that didn't seem like it rubbed Varandas the right way. I don't know if I was the only one that's seen that. Maybe it's my only crazy little mind at play.
Was
here
that in the backstage sporting video?
No,
was that just
it's the day that they were going. So basically, they were going up to receive the medals. Whatever, Varandas is there giving the handshake, and there's like a quick exchange of words between the two of them. And then it's sort of, I don't know if to me, at least in my PhD in psychology and body language, it seemed like there was a conversation that didn't go right. At least I didn't see any laughter between Varandas afterwards. And then of course there's that whole Batuk drama and stuff that this administration currently did against them. So with that being said, I think he's going to be sold again. Like I said, I'm surprised he wasn't sold earlier. Do I think he should stay? I think he should, because he's a good player. He's lively. The only thing is, I have yet to see him produce the full 90 minutes or not off the bench. When he starts, he doesn't have great games. Where when he comes off the bench, he looks like he can nick a goal for us. He looks like he can steal a game for us. He already has stole a game for us, in the Taça Liga. So, but what do you think, dude?
For him, I think sale. I think he should leave. I want him to stay, and I think a lot of it comes last season as well. After Bruno Fernandes left, he was sort of the savior for us. I know we still fucked up and finished fourth, but he was banging in free kicks. He was banging in goals. And like you said, he saved us against Porto. I think he also saved us. Was it Nacional when he came on? He got the assist and a goal.
Yeah.
So I think.
True.
But in terms for him, I look at him and I think you could probably do some damage in in England for a team like a West Ham or Crystal Palace or something like that, or even in Spain. I think if I were him, and if I were to take the sporting fan out of me, I'd probably say, you know what, if Pot stays and if Nuno Santos continues to be on form, then it's just going to be me off the bench. If he's fine with sitting and coming off the bench, then I'll get that contract extension done. But I think the reason it's not being done is because he wants to start and he wants to play, which is fair enough. And I mean, it's a bad situation to be in, but we've got great wingers at the club at the moment. So even if we that mobile striker term, I know he's played there a few times, but for me, I would love to keep him, but I think he's gonna leave, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. I think he just needs some more consistency to him, because he's good 1 month and then shit the next month, and then more consistency. You say West Ham, I say Championship. Go to the Championship and tear that fucker up like Matheus Pereira did.
Yeah, fair. But again, if we get sort of 15 million for him, I'd probably say, okay, that's probably a fair amount. He's not played a lot. He's injury prone as well, you forget. But if we get 15 million, sure, we can invest that somewhere else. That's one whole Paulinho, So,
facts.
But there's two more stories I just want to get into. One, they're not transfer rumors, these ones, but Sporting are going to be in pot 1 so far I think it can change depending on some results, but we're at the moment we're in pot 1 with the likes of Man City and Bayern Munich. Do you think it's better for us, or will it be more difficult for us? Because obviously the Champions League is going to be full of fantastic teams. Do you think it's better for us, or no?
It's definitely a more favorable position to be in, because we can find ourselves in a group like Benfica had a few years ago. Like I can't remember Porto's group, but I think Porto also had a fairly
when they had
fair
Leicester,
group.
Was that the one when it was like Leicester?
I can't remember who else they were. The Benfica one that I'm thinking of is when it was Benfica, Lyon, Zenit, and there was Basel. Oops. But I mean, they came out it poorly. But I mean, it's like teams that are like sort of at our level. Whereas like in the past, when we were in the Champions League and we were in either the third or fourth pot, I can't remember now. I think it was third. We got the likes of Juve and Barcelona in one group. Then we had Real Madrid and Dortmund
Inter.
in another group.
Not Inter. Wait, was it Real Madrid and Juve, or was it Real Madrid and?
I think it was Juve, Barca, and then it was Real Madrid, Dortmund, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a plus. But nonetheless, it could still fuck us over because I'm trying to think in England. Okay, we're not in Man City's group, but we can still get a Manchester United, a Chelsea, a Leicester. Leicester's. I mean, they won the FA Cup today. They can still cause us some harm. We can still get a Dortmund in England, or in Germany. We can still get Real Madrid potentially. With in Spain if Atleti wins. So it's tough. I mean, it'll still be tough, but it's more favorable. I mean, the odds of us getting that like Zenits and stuff like that are a lot more favorable.
Okay, fair enough.
You agree?
Yeah, I 100% agree. But I've left the best story to last.
Let's go.
This is a direct quote from everyone's favorite Sousa Sintra. We could have been champions in that 2018-19 season if Arandes did not send Pesero away. He was doing a good job. We had a very good team. When I left, Sporting were in first place. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, is he wrong, bro? I mean, Pesero, top-notch manager in the world. I agree, bro. Nothing more to say. No, I mean, he's a clown, bro. He's an old man. Like, what do you want him to? We weren't gonna win the league that year. Were we in first when he left? Oh, we were in first, but he only had like 3 games or some shit like that.
We had 3 games. One of the games that wasn't in the league, we got spanked by Benfica 5-0 in the. Was it the Supertaça or was it? Yeah, I think
that his season. I think that was the Varandas.
No, that was his
was Sousa Sintra. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was Sousa Sintra, right?
I think that was last season though. And then immediately after that, I think Marcel Kaiser was our manager, not Pesero. Because we lost the Taça. Yeah, because we lost the Taça Portugal, so we wouldn't be in the Supertaça. It was
the year before we won the Taça Liga because We got
Yeah,
no,
but
we got
the
in
year
the
before
final,
that was
didn't we?
Varandas. Varandas won
Yeah,
the Taça Liga and Taça Portugal. That's that same season that Sousa Sintra is talking about. Funny enough,
was it? Or maybe we
with
were
our boy
unbeaten. Maybe we were
Marcel.
unbeaten then. I thought because now we look back on it, that was the season obviously that we got fucked over. But did I because Arves beat us in Taça Portugal final, but they folded or got relegated or some shit happened with them.
No. They still played. They folded last season though. So
Okay.
we lost to them 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago now in the Taça
Okay.
Portugal.
So
But
maybe
yeah,
it's
that
just
Super
me
Taça was
being
last year.
stupid.
But with that being said, I think Sousa Sintra is still a crazy old man because I mean he's neglecting the fact that after he left, Peseiro started really fucking us over, and we did lose games against Benfica as well. Like he's forgetting about that with Peseiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he has a point though. We could argue, you know, the sale of Nani is bullshit. The sale of Monteiro is bullshit. But I think Monteiro wasn't Sousa Sintra. But Sousa Sintra also overlooks his Demiral sale. He overlooks his 2-year loan where we almost lost Palhinha, who was immense for us this season. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, right, and I know recently it's changed, but we've given Varandas a lot of shit on this podcast before. But he was fucked over royally by Sousa Sintra's dealings. Because remember, Varandas came here when he first come in without a transfer window. It was Sousa Sintra's transfer window. Diaby
Exactly.
came in that window. I'm trying to think of who else coming. Bruno Fernandes got signed to that extension, which I guess made us profit. So you can say Sousa Sintra got that one right. And I'll give him credit for that. It was a really overpaid deal, but he got it right. The Bastos deal, though, was fucking awful. 100,000 per week. We cannot afford that. I don't know how he even thought that was all right to offer Bastos that, but 100,000 per week for someone that was. I mean, he was good, but 100 grand a week is just definitely not like up there for me. Nani, I think, right. I love Nani. Don't get me wrong, but apparently his wages were like the top earner, and I know he's a great player, but if Randa sold him or released him or whatever because he was on too high wages, and I think I hated him for it, but I do sort like playing devil's advocate. I do sort of see why, because obviously want to free up the wage budget, and then obviously that season where he had his first opportunity, he brought in some shit players too. But Nani, so I'm just trying to think. So Demiral was Sousa Sintra. Nani was Sousa Sintra.
Nani was Sousa Sintra. Renan was Sousa Sintra. Like you mentioned, Diaby for 7 million or some shit like that. Sousa Sintra. Gudeli, who actually didn't mind.
Yeah,
I did. But he's not a CDM. He's a CM for me. He's an 8. He's not a 6.
Yeah, and I think he also re-signed Battaglia, and he re-signed. I think he re-signed Acuna as well. But I mean,
no, Acuna never rescinded.
Acuna never rescinded. Was it just Battaglia then?
Like I think he submitted his papers in late. That's why fans are really onto him. But if we're on to Acuna, then keep that same energy with Kwach, because I believe Kwach did the same thing. That's at least what I've heard. But I don't. Acuna didn't rescind. I actually like Acuna. I don't know. I don't fully understand the hostility towards him.
Because he was the one in the airport, if you remember, that he started the talking between the Jubileo and the Directivo and the players.
For sure. But I mean, if we're gonna listen, he's Argentinian. He didn't necessarily grow up in Portugal to understand like o grandeza do Sporting, you know. So I'll understand, you know, if he rescinded his contract, I would kind of understand it with the foreigner players. I have the biggest issues with the Portuguese players that did it because they understand the magnitude of the club at least. But anyways, that's sidetracked. I fuck with Acuna. I love Acuna.
Yes, same here. But I'm not Felipe in the chat bring it up. I remember Pesero didn't pick Matheus Pereira. I think he picked Jovan or someone over him. And I remember Matheus Pereira tweeted something on Instagram.
That's true.
And I think that was Sousa Sintra as well, banishing him to Germany, if I'm correct. And he was voted Young Player of the Season, which I think is Rookie of the Year in Bundesliga, and also scored against Bayern Munich, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So, I mean, he did more damage to the club than Varandas did. I believe personally. And I think maybe if Sousa Sintra doesn't take that, sacking Mihailovic as well, forgot about that. That's the big one, which still cost us 4 million recently. Viviano too, not playing him, which I'm not sure was manager's decision. I'm pretty sure was the higher up decision.
And Varandas continued it as well. It has to be mentioned at least as well. The Viviano decision.
Mm-hmm. But part of me did feel a bit bad for Varandas because obviously he didn't get the transfer window. But then obviously seeing in hindsight, he did have that first transfer window and he fucked it. So it's like, but at the time I was like, okay, Varandas, he's come to the presidency in sort of a dark cloud. He's a bit of a twat, but it is what it is. But like Sousa Sintra did fuck him over, and I did feel a bit bad for him. But I guess without Sousa Sintra happening, we don't win this title. Like it's also like the butterfly effect if this doesn't happen. So I mean, Sousa Sintra is definitely a senile old man at this point. He's like Grandpa Simpson from The Simpsons, just or say whatever to get some screen time. But I mean, no one takes him serious anymore, and I think no one took him seriously when he was the president. So, yeah,
facts. Porto up 2-0 now. Luis Diaz just scored. So, Rio Ave is currently in. Is it the penultimate position? Right. Let me just look. Penultimate position. Currently, Rio Ave is going down, and Farense is in a relegation playoff. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have much on Modalidades. All I have is Sporting did beat the Benfica basketball team, so we're moving on to the final against Porto. I don't know if the game's tomorrow or Monday. I think it might be like Monday. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, anybody. Everybody knows the Modalidades guys. Isn't these two that are on the screen? It's Steph and Christian. Mm-hmm. And I had one more. The B team, I think, lost, right? That was the only one I had.
3-2 to Benfica, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. But that happened the last podcast, so never mind. I think I had one more, but now I can't remember it. All right, whatever. Today. It doesn't matter.
I think it was the youngsters. We lost to Benfica, I think 3-2 today. I think we lost in like the 94th. I remember someone putting a screenshot of it in a chat I was in, but I don't quote me on that, but I definitely know we lost.
And then the roller hockey, it's 2-2 against Benfica currently for the final four.
We played Benfica in so many different modalities today. It's like, is it all planned?
Oh, wow. This is, if we're being honest, this is the modalities that really matters, though. The derby, I should say, that really matters though is the hockey team. The soccer team, fuck that shit. And the handball team won today against SC Horta. What does Garrick ask here? I thought it was the games versus which count, and Rio Ave won 2-0 and 1-0 against Firenze. That's what I'm seeing on the. That's all I'm seeing on my app, on Forza app. That's why I see Rio Ave is in the penultimate position. If that's what you're asking, Garrick. And yeah, 2-2, and that's all. That's it with Modalidades. I'll just quickly ask you, what do you expect, or what do you want to see against Marítimo, and your prediction on that? Actually, on that, is it fair that we rotate? Sorry, is it fair if we rotate, seeing as they are in a relegation battle?
When you say that, probably not. But I think there are some players that haven't played this season, like the backup goalkeeper, Andre Paulo, who probably would like to get a winner's medal. And I think Amorim, is the sort of, he reminds me like a player's manager. Like we saw in the celebrations, obviously it was celebrations, but he gave every player a hug. He seems to have a good relationship with all of them in training when you watch the backstage sporting videos as well. But I think we need to go for a full rotation. I think if Amorim said in the press conference that he's experimenting for next season, and I mean if he wants to continue doing that, that's fine as well, because obviously, I'm not going to bash the man. He knows what he's doing clearly. So, but personally, the main things I would like to see is Andre Paulo to start. I want to see if he's actually any good. Esugo to start, and I would like to see Pot and Eduardo Quaresma as well, because I want to see Pot get that goal scoring title. Other than that, I'm not too fussed. Like I said, actually, João Pereira, if he does retire, I would like to see him brought off to applause, even though there'll only be 5,000 fans in the stadium. It's just a nice thing to see, and I think he does deserve it after the serve he's given to us. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a 1-0 Sporting win, and I'm going to say Pot will score a free kick.
Nice. I agree. I want to see a rotated team. I don't care if it's fair or not. I think Marítimo, to be fair, is pretty much almost safe. They're one of the top ones. If it was closer to the bottom, then maybe it would be a better in terms of a gentleman's agreement, if I can use that word, to have like our starters play. But yeah, André Paulo, I want to see Eduardo Quaresma. Maybe I wouldn't be mad if we rested Coach this game. But I think with the fans there, it'd be nice to have him also start. But it would be nice to see Eduardo Quaresma, Nuno Mendes, Mateus Nunes, Bragança again, and I'm forgetting a kid. It's 4 or 5 of them. And Inácio. I'd like to see all of those kids play at least the last game of the season together as champions with the green hair. Plata, thank you, Juicebox. Plata has to start, I think. Give him a run. Give Giovanna a burn as well. But play Pot. Maybe bench Paulinho for Jovan, but play Pot. Pot needs to try to get the top goal scorers, and then do what we're doing today. If we're losing, or if we're tied, or we want Pot to maybe score a goal or so, bring in the main guys. Bring in Paulinho. Bring in Palhinha. Bring in João Mario. My guy's saying get Lucas Diaz. Not yet, bro.
As well, if João Mario goes back to Inter and doesn't come back, maybe he's going to get the same treatment as João Pereira. Obviously, it's not career ender, but if he does decide to, he's probably got some interest in him in Spain or Italy, not in Inter, but I think because again, it's like one of those. He's won the league. He doesn't have anything more to prove. He might see Spain or England. I know he's actually thought of fondly by West Ham fans. I know a few of them, friends with some of them. They seem to like João Mario, so if that comes to fruition again, who knows? But I would like to see just like I think it's going to be a lot nicer to watch a game with fans as well, because as much as I like hearing Amorim swear 24/7 from the sidelines, I think it'll be nice to have a few songs. Like when I went to London as well, listening to the songs that I've not heard in over a year now. I've been in the pandemic for a year and 4 months, year and 3 months. I've not heard that for ages. So hopefully we just have a nice day. And like watching, I didn't watch the whole game, but the FA Cup final day between Leicester and Chelsea had, I believe, 20,000 fans in attendance. And that was fun to sort of watch and listen to. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great performance and a great spectacle either way.
I agree. And that's why I'm going to say Sporting wins 3-1. It'll be a nice way.
André Paulo's going to concede.
Come on, man. I mean, Azan conceded 3 today, or 4 today, bro.
True. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, that's the end of 113.
There is one more announcement that we need to make.
Go.
I'll do it. Me and Danny will be on a podcast tomorrow. It won't air till Thursday. We'll tweet it out properly tomorrow. A Shamrock Rovers podcast. I'll try and find the account here because I've had a mind blank. But basically, our green and white brothers over in Ireland have gone the season unbeaten. They've won their respective title, I believe. We're just going to talk about the similarities. We're just going to talk about our season. So if you do want to join us, more than happy to have you. Let me just find the link real quick.
Yeah. If anybody wants to send me some vital information on Shamrock Rovers, not that I don't know who they are. I know that they have a big rivalry with the Red and Black of Bohemians, but I'm not an expert. So, DM me some shit so I know. And I'm not like a stupid North American.
The podcast is at East Stand Podcast. East Stand Pod. Hosted by Gary Parsons and Carl Riley. Con Murphy actually recommended to us to go on there, sort of reached out between the two. So it'll be great if you lot could join us. It will be pre-recorded. I'm not sure if we can swear or not, Danny. So we might be
okay.
in a bit of trouble there. But we'll confirm everything tomorrow. But yeah, when it gets released, we'll retweet the link. But they're on SoundCloud, I believe. So if you are free to listen, please do.
Facts. I won't swear, man. It'll be too early in the morning for me, and I won't have a beer. I'll have a coffee. Okay. So I'm usually nice. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. Be on the lookout for that. Next pod is coming soon. Not a set date. Follow us on Twitter, Sporting160_EN to find out when the next pod is. Hopefully we'll have all 5 of us to end off the season. We're still campeões, caralho. Caralho. Follow us everywhere, Sporting160EN. Thanks everybody for joining us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys are sick. And yeah,
Viva Sporting.
Viva Sporting.